4 men and a lady, were grieving the loss of our suspect's nephew, who was killed in a really nasty, fiery car crash in the wee hours of the morning on Saturday. They all decided to jump the fence into the Boy Scout area of Jonathan Dixon State Park, fish for a little while, drink beer, and just try to decompress. That's what some of the witnesses said. The park ranger who lives in that same area was doing his job and drove up to them in his truck and had a cordial conversation with them. Hey guys, you're not allowed to be here, you're trespassing. He was not trying to involve the sheriff's office, he wasn't trying to get them arrested, he wasn't trying to trespass them. He just wanted them to move along. 4 of those 5 individuals did what he asked. They went, they climbed back over the fence, they started leaving the property, and our suspect, who had been drinking heavily, again, grieving the loss of his nephew, started an argument with the ranger. Ranger did his job, asked him to leave, stood his ground, and at some point in there, the suspect brandished a firearm, a 9mm handgun, and fired between 4 and 5 rounds. One witness says 4 rounds, one witness says 5 rounds, in or at the park ranger, who was not struck. The ranger hid, took evasive action and hid, and was safe. I mentioned last night that there was a 9-year-old boy that was with him. There was. His son was sitting in the truck when those shots were fired. Our suspect then climbed over the fence and went to his mother's house in North Passage with his brother. The father of the young man that had died in the car crash. Our road patrol, once they gathered all this information, went and tried to make contact with Doug Bunker, our suspect, and he would not talk to them at all on the phone. They tried over 70 times to engage him in a telephone conversation. That did not happen. Eventually, Mom came out and interacted with our deputies, and we tried to use her as what we call a TPI, third-party intermediary, to try to talk sense into her son and just say, hey, come out and let's resolve this peacefully. And of course, she was worried about her son's safety. She saw our presence there was pretty robust. She was worried about him dying. At one point, she was able to make contact with her son on the telephone. She handed the phone to our deputy, who was trying to engage him in some kind of a negotiation. At that point, he was extremely intoxicated and said, if you have and I'll leave this part out, come on in and get me, challenging our law enforcement officers. Because of the complexity and all the nuances of the case, and we had an armed subject that was now barricaded in the house, refused to come out, we called out SWAT and our hostage negotiators, who responded. We spent a lot of time and money and effort into getting that SWAT team outfitted with whatever they need to make sure they can resolve these instances as safely as possible. Keep in mind, SWAT, people perceive them as the guys that go kick in doors and they shoot people, and we can do that if need be. But our mission overall is to protect the public, which we did down there in North Passage. We evacuated houses, we protected the neighbors, and really even protect the suspect while protecting ourselves as we're doing our entry. They tried to negotiate, they announced on the loudspeaker, our suspect, no response, no even any indication that he was in the house. We knew he was there, but no contact. And so SWAT started going through their process. One of the pieces of that process was then breaching the front door, which I think you saw a video. In this case, we used our armored vehicle, our Bearcat, to breach the front door. That rod that you saw in there went into the front door, and they were able to pull the front door from the front of the house. And at that point, our suspect knew that we were going to get him out of that house.